melody. Nightfall, the rain, and the silence leads. We have come into the night, plunder, rage, and war a night. We have come into the night, plunder, rage, and war a night. We will fight, dark age, Ragnarok, shield wall. Bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. Bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla. I can feel it in my veins, the warrior inside of me. Bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok, bringer up for Ragnarok. Welcome to Valhalla.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Seer podcast. I am Hailstorm, and I'm joined tonight by Deity. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Friday, weekend, got games on Sunday. It's gonna be great.
Yes,
Excited.
sir. Sorry for the lack of Seer last week. Just been very busy on my end, but we're gonna try to keep them up. Shout out to Blitzkrieg for casting some of the games from Week 1 live, and I appreciate him very much, as should everyone else. Since we had never had the Seer going into Week 1, I figured first we could check out the team lineups coming out of the draft with a couple small updates as a couple captains have made trades. So, first we'll look at the Kraken Slayers, team I ended up on, coached by Critter in the mid lane. I've got Hailstorm in the top lane, JFKC Senior jungling, Console C ADC, and Trinity support. And for right now, we're not going to go too in depth with anything. On the team, I think we have a fair amount of talent spread across the map, so kind of potential for doing well in all lanes. Any thoughts from you, Deity?
Looks like a star-studded lineup if I've ever seen one.
What a
You got
joker.
the big hailstorm in the top lane,
The big man,
just
the double
cracking
big
heads.
Next team is Titan Gaming Mox, captained by Vixper. Have KU Atomic in the jungle, the Crypt Lord in the mid lane, IBGen ADC, and Bentage, the Season 2 MVP, as support. Any thoughts on these fellas?
Well, I hope we get to see them next week. Spoiler alert, but in full form. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the defending champions can bring to the table once they're, all 5 together on game day.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was hoping to cast their game this week, but I forgot about patch day, so for
Unlucky.
next time it happens, I'll remember so I can save the old patch. But yeah, definitely the defending champs trying to make a strong showing for Season 3. Next up, we got the Ultra Lords, captained by Kazuto in the mid lane. Have Delta Centuria in the top lane, Zabel jungling, Mami Senpai ADC, and a Halfling in the support role. Have the classic Kazuto late game carry focus mid. It looks like some good talent spread across the top and bot side of the map.
I mean, yeah, they just look really well rounded. You have a lot of their salaries kind of spread out between like top, mid, and bot lane. So yeah, I think they're gonna be a scary team, to be honest. I think the Ultra Lords are coming in to make a statement this year.
For sure. They had a pretty good run at the end of last season, making it
Yep.
into the playoffs and making a respectable showing there. So excited to see what they do with this Season 3 incarnation of the team. Next up, we got the Stoner Nation. This one's captained by Boosted Sandwich in the mid lane. They won a total of 3 games. Pretty good run. Hey man, we'll take it, buddy. We got Mind Desire now in the top lane. It was Bunny Lord. After week 1, the trade, what do we call it? Trade embargo, I guess, was lifted. So Boosted dropped Bunny Lord and picked up Mind's Desire. So we'll see how he does in that top lane. Looked like from week 1, Bunny had a pretty good week. So if anyone's looking for a top laner, check out Bunny or keep an eye out on the subs list. All you subs, make sure people know who you are in case you end up on a team.
Yeah, I saw that game, dude. He was star walking.
We got Keanu Reeves in the jungle, Rise at Dusk ADC, and CLG Worthy Dust in support. Any thoughts on this team?
I mean it's the same core from the semifinals, Stunner Nation or Rolling Stunners, I guess. Slight name change there. But I think they honestly they made some good changes. They kept the same core of Boosted, Rise, and Worthy, but this time they actually got a dedicated jungler. And then so they might not have as many role swaps this time. And then they got Mines, who I think is a really great top laner. So I think he'll slot really well into that team, and I think they should do like really well. I think they can be a very solid team.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely Mine's looking like one of the more scary top laners, so we'll have to see what he can do against all the other top laners in the league.
Born God.
Bulgaria, thank you for the Prime sub, and shouting out Steel, saying he can destroy Deity any day. How
True.
you feel about that?
True, he could.
Easily.
He could.
Yeah. Give him the Evelyn. Just give it to him once. Let him have some fun.
I mean, this guy gets like 3 junglers banned from him the first round every game. He's just insane.
That is true.
Champion Ocean.
Next up, we have Titan's Wrath, captained by KB Jelly, who is now KB Jizzle. In the top lane, they have Boomstick, jungling Bears Pack, mid lane Karma Warrior, and ADC The Hard Way. Karma Warrior, definitely a high elo mid laner, one also to watch out for, similar to Mines in the top lane. Boomstick, a solid top, so definitely a very stacked top side of the map on this team.
Yeah, I think it's funny because this year I think I saw we had like 500 players on teams, or 4 or 5, and then KB's got 2 of them. So I think it was a really cool like thing to have. Like it's definitely unorthodox compared to like how other teams layer their salaries. He's got like very heavy mid, very heavy and top, and then he himself is a decent salary as support, and then you have the jungle and 80 carries lower salary. So I mean, hey, like if he can get the bang for his buck on his 500 players, which I think he can. I think the 500 players that he has are both super good.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that he could he could be a real like contender this year for like, even like semifinals or higher. He was also one of the people that was at semifinals last year, so he could be looking for a return.
Yeah, he's a contender. Definitely, we saw season 2. Hardway was captaining his own team this time, playing as a normal player. Gets picked up by KB, but definitely saw he played well. And Bears Pack we saw in a lot of the in-houses, was definitely around a lot, so probably getting a lot of good practice and didn't look like a slouch. So yeah, definitely looking like a strong squad. Speaking of squads, the next team is the Donger squad. Captained by Monteblanc in the support role. Top lane is Chris P. Chicken, jungle NBG Tactic, mid lane Mockingbird, and ADC Covert Panda. Another good spread of salaries across the map on this team.
Yeah, I mean, think this team, I think they're all just like super solid. I think they're all like really close. In terms of salary wise, they're all like, I think between like 750 and 1125. So I mean, they're, really like all kind of around that, plat kind of elo area. So I mean, they don't really have any like major weaknesses on their team. I think all their players are very solid. So I think
For
that they
sure.
could be super consistent in like every role or play a lot of different styles. I think there's like a lot of, they could play based on matchup on who they want to have carry that week or who they want to play for their side. So
Also,
I
just a
think it's
great team logo. So got the
true.
buff from
True.
that. Also, I think they
Yep.
all know each other, or at least most of them, before they ended up on the team. So should have some good synergy there, and will
Yeah,
hopefully help them out some on the Rift. Next up, we've got
absolutely.
Los Nomadas, the Season 1 champions. Didn't have as hot a season last year, but now bringing it back Season 3 with Snerbopsy
With a
once again being the
vengeance.
captain in the mid lane. We've got Omega the Reaper in top, Bulgaria in the jungle, Junie
Bulgaria.
ADC, and Ray wasn't support. We already saw a little bit of spoilers, but we'll see it soon. Bulgaria got some of that classic Amumu in his games in week 1 and got to have a good time.
We love green junglers.
So he's fully on board with the Valhalla mindset of green junglers are the best.
Absolutely, man. Can't beat the green junglers.
But
Strong.
despite having a not as good season 2, we know Strapsy puts a lot of thought into the drafts and has a solid team lineup here. So we'll be excited to see how they do in this season. Next
Absolutely.
game is Velocity Gaming. This one is being captained by Wheel Poco as ADC. Got Too Good for Lima top, Casual Plebs jungle, VG Doug mid, and Quincy support. Any thoughts on these boys?
Those are my boys. Those are my
My
flex
boys.
teammates. I'm happy to see them. Most pretty much get all together. And get all the players that they wanted in their group. So I don't know. I think these guys can do a lot. I think they have a lot of potential. I think they have the power of friendship
I
that
know.
can
Good.
steer them to victory.
I
No,
know
you're
they've
good.
been playing a lot. I get randomly invited to their games as they're just playing throughout the week whenever they need an extra person. So definitely getting a lot of
Yeah,
good
me too.
practice in for them.
Me too. I unintentionally became their go to like
Right.
flex replacement partner. Yeah.
Hey,
I
hang
mean,
on real quick. Get in here. Get in here.
yeah. We're gaming. Gaming hours.
And
But
then
they're a lot of fun to play with. I'm rooting for them.
for sure. Speaking of people you're rooting for, next up is the Goat Kings, captained by our own King of Beard. Got King Salt in the top lane, Deity in the jungle, King Reaper mid, and a 420 Samurai support. How you feeling about your team this season?
I mean, feeling good. I feel like we got kind of we got the lineup we were looking for. I think that I don't know. It's early to tell, but I'm liking the way we're gelling, and I'm liking the way we played last week. So I like everyone that I'm playing with. I think they're all a bunch of down to earth, cool gentlemen.
They're a bit
So
old.
yeah, yeah.
Says you,
I mean,
Bulgaria.
yeah.
Yeah, you guys definitely look like a solid team. Made it to second place in season 2, so see if you can't make it all the way to first place this year or season, I guess.
We're coming. We're
Their
coming for
ADC
it.
is the oldest person in the league. True, but we don't hate on old
Hey
people.
man, if we get second place, it doesn't matter how old we are, I guess.
True. He's like 80. That's too far. Next up, we've got HYG. The crew is back together.
The boy band.
Who was the captain on this one? Bonkers, right?
Bonkers.
Yeah, the captain HYG Bonkers, because I knew that. Top lane HYG Smoothie, jungle HYG TJ, ADC HYG Beeson, and support HYG Mabra. We've got the boy band back together, baby. Obviously, they have some out of league synergy from the built-in HYG camaraderie, and definitely looking
Yeah,
like a strong lineup.
they're the hung young gays, not the hot young gays. Don't forget it.
Yeah, right. The hot young gays.
No, it's the hung young gays.
Hung young gays, sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're hung, you're probably hot though. So I mean,
I mean, you can be hung without being hot.
guess it depends on what you're looking for, really. But moving
I
on,
mean,
we're gonna
yeah.
talk about the Bomba Bros, captained
Bomba.
by Evebot.
That's him.
In the ADC role, got to see him destroy on Gragas in the jungle last season, so we'll see how he does in the new role. Definitely an important role if you can get like 2 to 3 items.
Where's the Gragas ADC?
True.
When are we gonna see it?
In the top lane, we've got Eli Wood, jungle Delicious, mid lane Fluffy, and support Dirk. So another solid lineup. Definitely some potential to flex if they wanted to on this lineup, but we will see how they're
Yeah,
doing in the current lineup.
I could see them. I could see them changing things around, possibly if they so chose.
We just
They
need 1
definitely have
week
a
where
lot
they
of.
can let Evbot play somewhere where we can play that Gragas,
Yeah, all their players are all, I think, pretty good in other roles. Like they all have like different roles that they can flex to. Like I know Fluffy and Ellie played bot last season. Evbot played jungle, obviously. Delicious played top lane. I believe Dirk also plays mid lane. I'm not sure, but I know they all can potentially flex around. But as it sits right now, they actually do have the highest salary bot lane, I believe,
True.
in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
They're just
So
flipping the strategy of the stoners to say,
yeah,
hey,
they're bot
we'll
heavy
win
instead of top
bot.
heavy.
You guys can be top. We'll see
Yeah.
which strategy prevails for season 3.
Yeah, I like the bot. I like what I've seen from them. Like I know Dirk plays more unconventional, more supports, but I mean, they're definitely fun to watch.
And a terrible top. Whoa, the self burn. And the last team to run through, none other than the Night Raid Owls, captained by Kid Boo,
The
who
Night Raid
likes to get
Owls.
spammed by his team for whatever reason. In that top lane, they have Nile, mid Cocaine, ADC Yukat, and support Dainty Taco.
Yeah, just move on. It's okay.
Yukahu? Yeah, Yukahu, sure. I'll go with that.
Yukahu. Or is the U is the thing over the U, is that a ya? Is it Yukahu?
Yukahu. I don't know. Moving
Yukahu.
on. Don't know a fair amount of them personally from this lineup, but I know Kid Buu generally picks his team and ends up with a solid run, so I'd expect to see them have a fairly good season, if not having a pretty good one. Have to see how they all mesh together.
Yeah, I mean, Night Raid Owls are usually competitive for sure. So I mean, I also don't know much about the players on the current players on their lineup, but I'm excited to see them. Excited to see what they got.
Thank you for banning that spam message. But yeah, for sure. But now that we've run through the teams, we saw. I didn't call it out, but Velocity Support was the other trade that has happened since the start of the season. But with that, we'll run through the games from week 1. The first game we'll look at is Titan Gaming Mux versus Velocity Gaming. Here we see the draft from game number 1. You want to run through this draft, Deity?
Yeah, so we got bands on the side of TGM. We got Shaco, Ash, Nami. I know that Ash is Poco kind of known for his Ash, and Casual kind of known for his Shaco. So Nami, I'm not sure. I guess Quincy might be a Nami player. I'm not completely current on that. We got from Velocity, we got the Briar ban. We got which I believe this game Pharaoh was jungling. We have the as a substitute. We have the Seraphine ban and Morgana ban, both for Vintage, respectfully. First pick, we got the Maokai, popular flex, really overpowered champion, right? Please do something about that champ. That champ shouldn't do the amount of damage he can do and also be unkillable. Tristana, another good flex. And then we have Ornn for the top lane. I believe that would be Vixper. On Velocity side, we got the AP Nunu, the casual special. We got Kaisa and Thresh for the bot lane. So far pretty all or like dive heavy comps from both teams. We got bans Zareth Malzahar for Bentage, even though I think Bentage is mid, maybe. I mean support, maybe. So
Yeah, I believe he is supporting.
okay, so we're just meme banning
you,
Bentage champ pool. Cool.
you could
Uh,
run Zerath support. The Malzahar's
I
a little random.
guess. Yeah, I guess. And then we're banning top laners on the side of TGM to deal with the blind pick Ornn. We got set blind for, or not blind actually. It's into the Ornn for velocity, so counter pick there, and then we got the Not and the Brand. Assuming it's a brand mid, not support, and then we have the counter pick Lux in the mid lane against the Brand. Thoughts about the teams?
Titan Gaming Mox has a ton of engage, Maokai, Ornn, and Nautilus, and then just kind of two hyper carries on the Tristan and Brand behind him. I agree,
Yeah.
Maokai's a little ridiculous. I want Riot to make him only busted in the top lane again, so that I can just keep him.
Nah, dude, it's over, man. Right? Just right. It's like Maokai's a jungler now. Get used to it. It's not looking good.
Plenty of beef for Tristana to stand behind and jump in with, and then Brand just does ridiculous damage. So I do like that lineup. It seems like an easy way to play out the game. For Velocity, the Nunu, if you can counter jungle some and maybe get the Maokai behind, I can see it work. Got good damage out of the Kaisa and Lux, and then Set. If you can get ahead early, you could punish the Ornn, but if you don't, you'll get kind of outscaled and a lot of out utilitied. So I think I favor
Yeah.
Titan Gaming, but I could see it go either way.
Yeah, I mean, if the Kaisa gets big and the set gets big, it's like, they could both shred the tanks. So it's not, it's not like Velocity don't have any countermeasures here, but I think it is. I think Titan Gaming Mox has an easier comp to handle or to play.
Right, but we'll check out the score screen and see that this one went to Velocity Gaming. They got the big wheel Poco on the Kaisa, so had plenty of tank shredding with the Kraken along with the passive for Kaisa, and were able to
The
melt through
big
this front line.
the big Demon King casual on
Big,
the
yeah.
Nunu.
Big shout out to
The big
Casual.
Medjay
200
casual.
farm, 8-0 and 13 on the Nunu. Looking like a new terror for this man. He said, I annoy people with Shaco. How about I annoy people with Nunu?
He is that guy. That is him.
But well played game
Yeah.
one to Velocity Gaming. We'll look at draft number 2, where Velocity ended up on the blue side and missed their first pick, classic, but got the Ashe ADC.
Goodness gracious, boys. We just need to pick the champion. We just need to press the champ and then lock it, and then that's it.
It's a lot of work, okay. Like the first guy
Oh,
I
it
named,
is.
Titan Gaming Box, was trying to figure it out. Now Velocity's trying to figure out. They're just eventually they'll figure out how to click the buttons on time.
Yeah, it's tough.
But we saw Velocity once again banned away Morg, Seraphine from Bentage, and Gwen away from the top lane. Titan Gaming Box still didn't want to deal with the Shaco, took away the Ashe, and did not want to see that Nunu in game number 2. We got that Ashe pickup for Velocity. Wait. How was it banned and then picked?
Wait a second. I mean, they did get it.
Okay, it was a Thresh ban. Got it.
Wait, we banned. Wait.
Alright, so this was a Thresh ban instead of an Ash ban.
Why? Why is Ash ban?
Thresh ban was.
What
Alright, thank you. Because I
what was
remember looking at the game. I was like, oh,
how did we
Ash
end
here,
up here?
but
How
I
did
didn't
we
look
end
at
up here?
where this ban
How
was.
did we end up here?
Alright,
Somebody tell me how
so
we
the
ended up
Ash
here.
ban was the Thresh ban. There we go.
I don't know how we ended up here, guys.
And then Titan Gaming got Ezreal Zerath. Velocity grabbed that Nami Pantheon. Titan Gaming grabbed the Jarvan. Got that Malzahar brand banned from Velocity. The Ari Lux ban on the side of Titan Gaming Box. Then the Mordekaiser was picked up for the top lane. Counterpick was the Jax, I believe, with the Garen mid. And then Briar to round out the draft for Velocity. And we got a little bit of a spoiler since I had to go look at what happened, but how you feel about the lineups? Pretending
Don't worry,
we don't know what happened.
wasn't looking. Surely. I mean, I'm leaning. I mean, I definitely Velocity has like a kind of like, how do I word this? They have a fun kind of like crazy style comp where they have a lot of like volatile pieces. Like if Pantheon, Mordekaiser, Briar get behind, like their team is pretty hard to take fights, I think. But I mean, TGM doesn't necessarily have a ton of CC. They just have, I mean, they have the Jarvan, and the Jax, so they have some dive, and then they also have some poke with it. Just both comps to me are kind of just all over the place. I don't know. Like the themes are kind of like random. But I mean, I would say TGM, just by looking at it, has like the better comp. I think that their solo laners are in a vacuum better than theirs, and then I think their team has more like utility, more ways to engage even from behind, has ways to, you know, they have the poke for barons and dragons, and yeah, I think I would say Titan Gaming Mox favored in terms of the draft.
And would you look at that? It was Titan Gaming Mox favored, taking the series to 1-1. IBGen getting big on that Ezreal, 11-3-3. Looking like Bentage did indeed want that Zera support, so it was a good ban from Velocity Gaming in the first game.
Yep. Just the Malzahar was the weird one.
Yep.
No, we banned it again the second game, so I don't know.
But yeah, well played.
We're cooking.
Titan Gaming Mox bring to game number 3. So hopefully this draft looks like it's fully complete. So hopefully nothing will be too confusing.
Oh, we did it, boys. We're here.
You want to run through this one?
All right. So we got.
Thank you, Lord Melikor, for the subscription. We will love you for 30 days.
Absolutely. All right. So we got the new band coming out again with Thresh and Shaco against TGM. So we're giving Casual the double ban treatment, and then we're doing 2 Bentage bans and a Gwen ban versus. Was Gwen played in the last game?
No, Gwen was banned last game.
Okay, so I guess they just really didn't want the Gwen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bentage gets his first pick Seraphine, the classic. And then we go for Taric Kaisa. So we're going for kind of more team fighty scaling bot lane and Zac. So yeah, we're definitely going for team fight here from the side of Velocity. TGM rounds out with Ashe and Udyr, which Udyr's a staple. Vixper's jungling this game, so that's a staple Vixper champion. And then we got just really strong duo bot lane in lane from TGM. Ashe Seraphine is pretty good synergistically since they're since the slows work with Sarah E and just comes together. Then we got Set and Mordekaiser banned from TGM. A lot of top laners picks being hit this time, and then we got Jax Poppy on Velocity side. So again, hitting those top lane champion pools. We're going blind pick Mundo for the side of Velocity, and then we're going counter response Trundle and Malzahar. Wasn't banned this time. The Malzahar was open. I guess that's why they banned the Malzahar. They're banning the Malzahar away from Gramenet, not from Vantage.
Gramenet
Makes
does
sense.
like it.
Yeah. So and then we're finish off with the Vel'Koz, a Doug special. We love Doug Vel'Koz. Busting it out for this game. So I mean, in a vacuum, I think both teams are pretty good. I think overall, if Velocity can scale, I think they have the better comp, but I also think TGM has a lot better early game. So I mean, it's tough. Both teams are very strong. I think it could really go either way. But I think TGM probably have the leg up just because I think it's going to be hard to get through some of those lanes with some of their champions.
Yeah,
I think Trundle, both top and bot lane are pretty hard for them.
I'd agree.
So.
It's a rough game for Tarek since Ashe is going to slow him a lot and he wants to run up and stun.
Yep.
It was a blind Mundo, but when you see an Ashe already, it kind of makes Mundo a little tougher because getting slowed on him is annoying. And then with Trundle there, able to ult Zac or Mundo, it should be a pretty good game for the Trundle in that top lane. It's not too bad of a matchup in the lane anyways. But definitely could go either way. I agree. I think the scaling goes to Velocity, but you have to survive that early game. But you can see who pulled out this series. In the score screen, it looks like it went over 2-1 to Titan Gaming Mux, taking the week 1 victory. Looks like Vixper had a good game on the Udyr, along with IBGen having a good Ashe game, 12-6 and 14.
I mean, both bot lanes just performed really well in pretty much all the games. Like, they were both just really high kill, really competitive bot lanes. So it's definitely fun to watch. Both bot lanes are decently high salaried here. So
avert your gaze at items. All right, Bentage wants us to look at his items really closely.
Bentage, look at the items. Okay, you built support items.
Yeah, you built support items. Although I think that'll piss off Beard because Beard always says to build all the AP items.
I mean, realistically, they're two different kinds of like. I don't think one Seraphine is necessarily better than the other one.
Gotcha. Hey man, yeah, but you got the W in the end of the day, so I mean, we'll take it. But well played, the Titan Gaming Mux, and we'll jump into series number 2, which was the Donger Squad versus Kraken Slayers. Here for draft number 1, Kraken Slayers banned away Azir, Darius, and Misfortune. Donger Squad took out Asol, Swain, and Zerath. We first picked the Maokai.
Hate Swain bans, man.
Of course. So rough. For similar reasons, as we said earlier when we picked Maokai, because he's OP in a bunch of lanes.
Oh yeah, it is.
They got the Lover's Bot lane and the Xayah Rakan. We grabbed the Kaisa Xayah in response. Thank you, Salt, for your Prime sub. We will love you for 30 days at least.
That's my guy. That's my dude.
That's your top laner.
That's my guy.
And then the Garen pick for the top. We banned away the Nico and Sejuani. They took out my Camille and Tryndamere, which was quite rude of them.
Yeah, it was pretty rude.
Fun fact for our Malphite pick, I kind of wanted the Maokai top, but we thought JFK was back at his computer, which he wasn't, and we knew he said he was okay with Maokai, so I picked Malphite because he wasn't there. Then we had Fiddlesticks Talia for Donger Squad, and then a Yone for the mid lane. How you feeling about our lineups?
Kraken Slayers has Maokai. Maokai's OP. Kraken Slayers theoretically. I don't know. I think both team comps are good. I think Kraken Slayers has an easier to pull off. I think Fiddlesticks, Talia, like it's a little bit harder to like pull off in team fights. I think they're both pretty strong. Also, I don't think Talia has too many like dashes she can actually interrupt with her besides like Yone. I think it's good independently into the Yone, but I think in general there's not really very many dashes she can block. That Malphite can just kind of rock solid all on top of her stuff.
Rock solid.
But yeah, I mean I think Kraken Slayers have an easier to operate comp, but I can see Donger Squad's comp isn't bad by any means.
Alright, we'll jump into the score screen. And Dongers had a fantastic game in game number 1 and pulled out that victory. Crispy Chicken had a really smart play early. He pushed me in since he had the spin to win to kill all the minions. Ran to the blue buff and killed JFK Senior while he was trying to take it and put him behind and just kind of helped shape the start of this game to help him have a very strong
Sounds like a
showing
play you
in game
guys
number
did
1.
tried to do against us last year
Yeah,
or last season.
it was more effective though this time.
Yeah, I mean definitely if you can get those like top laners can have a real big early impact if you are able to get the early push and able to look into the jungles and try to get like deep vision or even try to harass junglers while they're clearing.
Yep.
Definitely
And
smart strat.
we were trying our best to stall it out so we could get to late game and play it out, but they just had such a lead. They kind of shoved it down at the end of the game pretty quick, but well
Yep.
played to them. Here for draft number 2. This time, Donger Squad on blue side. Banned away Asol once again, Zerath, and Swain. We took out the Fiddle, Talia, and Darius. The Fiddle and Talia were 2 of the picks that were the most annoying in that game overall for game number 1, so we just didn't want to deal with them again. They first picked the Garen. Crispy was feeling it again, so to make sure they wouldn't ban away my Camille again, I first picked it myself. And we grabbed the Sejuani. They grabbed the Misfortune and a Nautilus, and we rounded it out with the Pike. They banned away Caitlyn and Samira. We took out Zaya and Azir. Then they picked up the Trundle. We grabbed Ezreal Silas, and they rounded out with the Orianna. How are we feeling about this draft?
Donner Squad have kind of a I don't know. I feel like they have more of like a standard ground comp, like you walk into a choke and you just get screwed, but they don't really have that much agency besides the Nautilus or maybe like the Trundle getting pillars off of. They also it's really reliant on getting those Orianna ults, Shockwaves off to make maximum use of the Misfortune ults. So I think their comp is a little trickier to operate with again, but I mean they were able to do it last time with a little bit of a less easy comp. So maybe they're just good at positioning around objectives and they just believe that they can get there first and put their stuff in the chokes and just wait till they walk in. On the side of Kraken, you guys have a lot more agency in terms of just like pick potential is really high. Pretty good, Wombos, Silas being able to access like things like Trundle ult, Garen ult, Nautilus ults,
Yeah,
even Orion ult. Lots
there
of
were
good ults
there
to
were a
steal.
ton of good ults for Silas this game.
Yeah. Lots of good ults. Realistically, the only not good ult is the Misfortune, but like they'll have a rotation of pretty good ultimates between the other 4.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I would say again because of the pick potential and everything, I would say Kraken Slayers, but I mean, Donger Squad, I think could pull it out.
For sure. We'll pull up the post game, and it went over to Kraken Slayers for game number 2. So once again, the series went to game number 3. Console C got big on the Ezreal. Creator had a ton of big ults to steal, as we said, and had a solid showing along with basically the whole team. We were all involved in most of the fights, you can see, along with the kill and the assist line. And I got to have the Camille counter pick, which was nice in that top lane. Kind of once you get to the Trinity Force, you can second Q the Garen and walk away, and it's really hard for Garen to play that lane.
Yep.
And on their side, I agree. They had a lot of good zone control, but if they're not in the zone to begin with, it's hard for them to walk into us.
Yeah. If they have early push, like Mockingbird gets really ahead on the Orianna early. Crispy does the same thing as he did last time. He kind of just gets the tempo pushes with Garen. I could see a world where they just are able to move to objectives before you guys and able to kind of put Orianna ball in the choke, have not Maokai, Nautilus sit around and wait to ult someone. I could see a world where they are able to play that draft, but it is pretty difficult. I would
Right.
say.
And Garen did once again go for the early cheesy play on JFK, but I was expecting it this time, so when he showed up, I was there to help collapse and protect my jungler this
Lose
time.
equals improve, ladies and gentlemen. Learn from your mistakes.
But with that, we'll jump into draft number 3, the final game for this series, where Kraken Slayer ended up back on the blue side, Donger Squad on the red side. We banned away Fiddle, Zaya, and Darius. They took out the Pike, Asol, and Swain once again. I was feeling the Camille, and we weren't really sure what we wanted to first pick here, so I said, sure, give to me.
Give it to him.
Crispy countered with the Jax, where it's more of a 50-50 one, but definitely playable, unlike the Garen game last time, so much more of a fight in that top lane. They grabbed the MF, we grabbed Nautilus and Ezreal, and then we rounded out the first picks with the Zyra for Donger Squad. We took away Ori and Azir, they took away Xerath and Yone. We went with the Sejuani once again. They grabbed that Maokai and Akali, and we ended up with the Syndra for our final pick. And
So this is a much better game for Donger Squad for the Misfortune. I feel like they just have more tools to with the Maokai, Jax, and Zyra to hold people in place for her ults. So I think like out the gate, this is just a better comp for them. You guys have some like good engage tools. My only concern with your comp is I feel like unless the Ezreal gets super big, it's going to be very hard to deal with their tankier members. You don't like Syndra's kind of more bursty until she gets a lot of items. And then Ezreal again, he just kind of does poke damage unless he's really ahead and is able to get the like armor pen items and the
right.
like his at least his like 3-item core. It's gonna be hard for you guys to output damage unless you get like super strong to the point where you're just one-shotting people as Camille Cho'Gath ult on Q. Haha, meme funny. But yeah, I think it's probably, I would say, Donger Squad has an easier time winning, is what I would say.
We'll check out the post game. And you are correct. The Donger Squad pulled it off, won the series 2-1. Ended up getting a really big Akali in that mid lane. Critters is having a little bit of a rough time in that matchup, and then Covert Panda got huge kind of off of roams from Mockingbird and Tactic. I actually ended up being fairly strong in the top lane early, but as you can kind of see, there were a lot of level leads in all the other lanes, so that despite me being a little bit ahead, I wasn't as ahead as the rest of the team, so they end up closing it out fairly quickly, around 31 minutes, and pulling out the series victory. But well played to the Donger Squad, and we'll jump into the third series, which is Night Raid Owls versus Titan's Wrath, and we'll let you run through this one.
All right, so we got, let's see, Silas banned away from Let me see. That would be Karma Warrior. We got Jax, banned away from who's their top? It's a Boomstick, and then we have Poppy, banned from Poppy herself, Cabe Jizzle,
They
the
banned away the
Popster.
Poppy.
Yep. And then we got double jungle bans from Kid Buu, or not Kid Buu. Yeah, Kid Buu. That's standard. And then we have a Vayne ban away from their ADC, Yukahu. And we're picking the Maokai. It's a beautiful start to a draft. We respond with Gramus, another fellow green jungler, and Caitlyn. So it's a good hardway champion. I see him frequent the Caitlyn. And then we get the Varus Yone. So automatically we have a lot of good CC, good engage, pick potential from NRO. So I do like that off the gate. They have a solid comp already on 3. We're getting Rumble and Orn bands coming out from NRO towards Boomstick. And then we are getting Gwen and Camille, so just more targeting top laners. Looks like Titan's Wrath want to pick a tank, and they're scared of tank shredders. Night Red Owls are scared of team fighting, strong top laners. We're rounding it out with a Sona, classic KB champion. Loves that Sona. We're going with Jarvan Cassante to round out our comp. So lots of engage from NRO, lots of just damage, lots of CC, lots of go in. So they're going to be hard to stop once they get going. And then we got the Garen pick, pretty popular pick so far.
Hey man, people saw
And-
Adam playing at a Worlds, they know it's good now.
Bro, they're just Garen's. It takes one guy playing it at Worlds, and people are just like, "Oh, Garen's."
I played Garen
like,
before Adam
this
did.
champ has been broken
before he
for
played it at Worlds.
3 years, and we're just discovering it now.
Turns out Ignite and an ultimate that does half your health is
Yeah,
pretty good.
just a lot of true damage. It's true damage is good.
It's weird. I had a health bar and now I don't.
Yeah, now it's gone.
I like Salt calling out Little Nas versus Garen. I vote Garen.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, Garen is a direct counter to Cassante, so it just, I mean, it's nice. He has the armor shred on the E. He has the ult that Cassante ruins his own HP bar with his ultimate. So, I mean, Garen just has a pretty easy time just mindlessly stat checking Cassante and killing him. Black Cleaver is also really OP. So champions that can build Black Cleaver are just really good.
Yeah, I do like a lot of what Titan's Wrath has. The Rammus weirdly is like really strong just because they made his taunt do so much damage and autos now. Got Caitlyn Sona, a pretty solid bot lane, and then Akali, where if you get ahead, you just kill everyone. So I think I'm leaning Titan's Wrath. What about you?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think just based on like matchups and lane opponents, I think Titan's Wrath should have game 1. Even though I do kind of like NRO's comp as a whole better, I just think that the lane matchups are going to be hard. I think Akali is going to be, if Akali gets big, it's going to be really hard for them to. They don't really have much point and click CC besides the Maokai, and then like obviously you can get Santear, but it's not as reliable. So I think it's probably Titan's Wrath favored.
All right, and we'll jump in. Titan's Wrath took the victory in game number 1. Looks like Karma Warrior did indeed get big on that. Akali 11, 2, and 8. Boomstick had a pretty good time 5, 2, and 11. Sorry about my dogs barking.
Happens.
And Hardway having a solid performance 7, 6, and 7. So just pretty solid all around from Titan's Wrath, taking the game in just over 30 minutes. Now we'll jump into draft number 2, where Titan's Wrath were red side and NRO blue side. Looks like I already took out Silas, Jax, and Akali. Didn't want to see that Akali again. Titans Wrath took out Lilia, Shyvana, and Vayne once again. And then this time we've got the Maokai first pick, the classic. Rammus and Caitlyn once again for Titans Wrath. Gwen Zaya for NRO, and then the Poppy to round out Titans Wrath first three. Crap, I didn't write down this band. Some kind of band and a Rumble. And then Fiora and Camille for Titans Wrath. They grabbed the Echo. Had the Syndra and Ornn picks for Titans Wrath, and the Cassante once again. This time Cassante versus Ornn, much more of a playable character. I'm being told it was a Garen ban, so it was a Garen and Rumble ban.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. But how are we feeling this time?
We picked a non-Black Cleaver champion into Cassante. Don't like it. No, I'm kidding. It's whatever. I honestly don't know. Like, I guess the Ornn is like added insurance, but I just think Titan's Wrath's damage profile is so low. I feel like they have very low damage profile. It's very much on the Syndra and the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn already isn't like much of a like she doesn't do a lot of damage to tanks early on. She has to get a lot of items. She takes a while to get rolling. So when you have champions like Cassante and Maokai in the game, and also Gwen, who like just cuts down frontliners, and your two damage types are Caitlyn and Syndra, I think it's going to be really hard for Titan's Wrath to actually play these fights unless they just destroy their lanes like unnaturally. I think it's going to be incredibly tough. I think their comp is kind of weird. I don't know why I don't know. I don't like the Echo with the Gwen, I guess, just because it incentivizes people to build magic resist against the Gwen, which they shouldn't want to do. But so I think the Echo could have just been swapped for something better here. But other than that, I think NRO should just win.
Echo does do okay in the Syndra, just because if you get ulted, you can Echo ult.
Yeah.
You could have chose something different. Just depends on what he's.
I mean, it's just
with.
Echo. I mean, yeah. I mean, if he's just an Echo enjoyer, then it's fine. Like, you know, if he's able to one shot the Caitlyn or one shot the Syndra, then it's good.
Right.
I just think that they have a lot of like anti-engage stuff with the Echo, so I think like Poppy W and Rammus taunt, like a lot of CC. Usually don't like picking Echo into heavy CC because he just can't ultimate. But we'll see what happens.
We will see as I pull up the score screen. And NRO takes the victory in game number 2. Had a very big Zaya, along with Kid Buu and Dainty Taco doing pretty well. Nile having a much better time now that he was against a champion who doesn't execute him as soon as he ults. And we'll play there to NRO, taking the series to game number 3. I'll let you run through this one more time because I'm holding my child.
Okay, so we got Akali, Jax, Silas bans from NRO. So we didn't like the Akali in game 1. We didn't like the Jax. Still don't like Silas. We first pick. I mean, we still pick basically the same bans on Titan's Wrath, except the Gwen is an added one here.
Got the triple ban on Kid Buu.
Yeah, the triple ban
no
on Kid
junglers
Buu.
for you.
No AP jungles. We have a first pick Vayne, which I'm not usually a fan of first pick Vayne. I think first pick Vayne, like Vayne is just a champion that is a counter pick champion. So I feel like just blinding her out the gate is kind of tough. So I guess Hardway must be pretty confident in his ability to play it. Maokai, Kaisa for NRO. It's just 2 overpowered champions. No issues here. Nautilus, Amumu for Titan's Wrath. So they're really trying to create space for this Vayne. And then we got a Kayn pickup for NRO. Back against the wall, you have his AP champion's gone. He goes to Kayn, which I think Kayn is. I think on this patch specifically, I don't think Kayn was super good. Obviously, with the new patch, it's a little bit better. AD junglers in general were just pretty bad last patch. we're banning Syndra and Rumble, getting rid of AP options, which I don't really know why you're getting rid of a bunch of AP options, because they do need some AD on their comp with Mumu Nautilus, but I guess they just trying to get rid of comfort. And then we're banning Camille and Echo, taking away some picks from previous games. We have a Yasuo pickup for NRO. This is really weird to me because you have I mean, like Maokai and Red Cane, I guess, have like a bit of a knockup, but just seems like a weird game to pick Yasuo. If you're gonna pick Yasuo here, I don't know why you wouldn't have just picked Diana or something, or maybe you pick the Gragas on 3. I don't know what NRO's Kid Boost champion pool is like, but seems like a weird pairing. And then you have Gragas top, Yone mid. Yone's a popular champion for Karma. And then your last picking Aurelia into the Gragas. So I feel like you counterpicked yourself top lane. And then you also have full AD. So I don't know. Titan draft win, I guess. I don't know. This draft just felt like I don't know what was going on here. I guess you have Kaisa as your AP. Like
if you get like
Copium,
full AP.
I mean, yeah, you have. I get they have Kaisa, but they just don't have any like. They have Maokai's support as their solo engage, which never feels good.
All right, we're told by Shiva Nation, Aurelia shits on Greg. He just didn't play it right. Well, it turns out if you don't play it right,
how does Aurelia shit on Gragas? I feel like Gragas just saves his E and then just
belly slams.
He just body slams her and walks away. Like, what does Aurelia do?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to check out what happened.
Like, maybe if Aurelia's fed.
2 dashes. Yeah, if you're ahead. If you're not ahead, you're kind of screwed. But let's look at what happens.
I don't think
if
you're marked, if she could then don't get marked. You have a dash. How do you get marked?
Titan's Wrath takes the victory for the series. Looking like Karma Warrior 9-2-1 on that Yone.
Okay, I agree. Boomstick, if you don't go phase rush and you go first strike, then yeah, maybe she can get on you. I mean, if you go phase rush Gragas here, you just can't do anything.
I'm damaged.
But yeah. He's damaged.
Karma
they
is
go to him
good. Karma is
when they need
good.
damage. They go to Boom.
Hey, I won my lane. At least you won your lane. We'll take it.
So
but in
Karma
the end, Titan's Wrath will take the series. And with that, we'll move on to series number 4. There we go. Which was Stoner Nation against the Ultra Lords. Here in this draft, Stoner Nation on the blue side, Ultra Lords on the red side. Stoners took out Rise, Azir, and Cassiopeia. Said, we don't want you to have any of your champions, Kazuto, even though your pool is super deep. Ultra Lords took out Vladimir, Aatrox, and Yone. Had that first pick, Jinx, for Hyper Carry bot lane. Ultra Lords grabbed that Maokai and Ziggs. Evelyn. Oh, hey, look, the Evelyn was up for steal. My man gets his Evelyn.
Evelyn Gaming, let's go.
And Alistar to round out their first 3 picks, and then the Scion for Ultra Lords.
So this is Ziggs bot, Jace mid, Scion top, Maokai jungle.
Spoilers, I'm not even done with the draft yet. Then Stoners took out Kaisa and Tristana. Ultra Lords took out Darius and Jax. Stoners picked up that Olaf. Ultra Lords grabbed Bard, Jace, and then RE for the mid lane to round out the draft. Go ahead.
Okay. My bad, I got eager there. It was excited. So I think that I don't know, like theoretically, like Olaf should do good into tanks, but when like in my opinion, I don't think Olaf does super great in the side. Like I don't think it's that one-sided of a matchup. Maybe early game it is. But once Scion starts getting items, like because Olaf doesn't really have any percent HP damage in his kit, and he doesn't usually build Bork. So in my opinion, once Scion starts getting stats, like Scion can just stat check Olaf and win, unless Olaf gets super ahead. But overall, it just seems like I would say that like Ultra Lords overall probably just have a easier to operate comp. I think their comp is a lot of scaling though. I think they don't have a lot of like early game agency besides Jace. I think Jace mid is decent. I guess the Bard can roam around and get some stuff. Evelyn definitely takes a little bit to get going. So yeah, I think it's gonna very much depend on how how hard Kazuto can punish boosted in the early game and like push in and try to make things happen other places and get early dragons and stuff. Because I think if Ultra Lords are allowed to scale, I think they just win. I think their comp is too hard to deal with. I think Evelyn into this comp seems horrendous. Like it just feels doomed. I don't know like who on their team you're going to actually be able to kill. Bard is just going to be able to ult anyone that has a heart over their head. So yeah, it seems hard for stoners to play if the game goes too long.
Yeah, it seems tough. Like unless you have a big Jinx or Evelyn just gets super fed.
Yeah.
I agree. Scion can maybe get punished a little bit early, but the way they build, Scion will end up not really caring that Olaf is hitting him.
Yeah.
With
With
not like
Heartsteel
a
and
moored
stuff.
matchup
With
or anything.
Heartsteel, it's not. With Heartsteel, it's not like unless Olaf gets super like ahead early, it just seems so hard. I've played both sides of the matchup. It seems pretty hard once Scion gets like 2 items.
Yeah, it's one where Scion just says, "I'm gonna farm. I got my items, so now I can just win the fight because I'm Scion."
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, let's see how it turned out. And looks like Ultra Lords took game number 1, had a big Scion, had a fair amount of deaths, but still got 7 kills. Had Zabel,
hey man, that's
4-0-11. And then Kazuto 9-5-4, having a good game on that Jace.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, I think Rolling Stoner's comp is just really hard. They just have not that much CC. They don't have a lot of ways to deal with tanks besides the Jinx. I mean, like Olaf can deal with tanks if he gets ahead, but if he's not ahead, then he kind of just dies. Yeah, I mean, it's tough.
Sometimes it is tough, but we'll jump into draft for game number 2. This time, Stoners took the red side. Ultra Lords banned away Vladimir, Aatrox, and Yone once again. Stoners took out Ryze, Ziggs, and Scion. Didn't want to see the Ziggs or Scion.
What's funny is those are all Bunny Lord champs. So Ultra Lords just hate Bunny Lord. They're just like, we're not letting them get. The Ultra Lords did that against me last time too. They love doing that where they just pick the highest salary player on the team and just ban 3 other champions. And they just were like,
take away their champs and then they're not a problem.
Take away that. Just pick on the highest salary player.
Also, as I go through this draft, quick shout out. Lord Melkor said Karma Warrior had a penta in their games. Benchid said IBGen also got a penta, so a couple of pentas in week number 1 in these games. So people already out here popping off. But the first pick coming out for Ultra Lords was Maokai. Once again, a good flex pick. Stone Nation grabbing Jarvan for that strong jungle, and Ezreal for the bot lane. Then we got the Jinx and Renata pick for Ultra Lords, and Thresh to round out the first 3 picks. The Darius Jax banned away for Ultra Lords. Stoner Nation took out the Cassiopeia and Jace. And then Syndra picked up for Ultra Lords, Lux Cassante for Stone Nation, and Volibear to round out Ultra Lords draft. How are we feeling about this one?
I mean, honestly, I think Stoners have a bit of a better comp now, but I just feel like their comp is like they all have different pieces. Like they're all kind of like disjointed because like you have the Jarvan along with like 2 poke champions, and then you have the Thresh, which like why would you want Thresh with 2 champions that are going to be that far back and they're already going to be kind of safe? You'd probably rather have a either an enchanter or like another poke champion, like maybe a Zerath or something. I don't know. Their comp just seems kind of disjointed. It seems like they don't have consistent damage unless Ezreal gets ahead. So I think Ultra Lords probably still have this one. I think they have a lot of good engage setup and just burst, and I don't think Stoners really have the tools to be able to team fight them.
I would agree. For Volibear into Cassante, it's like a matchup where I think Volibear can do pretty well early, unless you just get behind. You can kind of be that bully early. They've got a strong
Yeah.
bot lane and scaling mid, so I like that setup. And it's a little bit on Stoners, I think, to find a lead in this one, but we'll have to
Yeah.
see how it played out in the score screen, where the Ultra Lords took the series 2-0. Looking like.
Man, Bunny Lord really tried his heart out, man.
Yeah, Bunny Lord had a
That's
great
unfortunate.
game. Freaking 16, 1 and 2.
Bunny Lord.
Man is now a free agent. If you're looking for a top
Bunny
laner,
Lord, it
check
was
him out.
not the problem. He was not the problem. Someone picked this man up. Look at him. He's star walking all over him.
But Kazuto getting up to 15, 6 and 5. Mami Senpai 11, 2 and 7. Just two very strong hyper carries on the late game to close out this game.
Poor Viking. That must not have been a fun experience.
But well played Ultra Lords, taking their week 1 series 2-0. Jumping into series number 5, which was HYG versus the Goat Kings. I'll let you run through your guys' drafts.
Yep. So we banned out Kaisa, Ezreal, and Jax because we didn't want them to have safe scaling bot laners or 80 carries. And then the Jax, just because Smoothie's been playing a lot of it, and it does well into some assaults champion pool, I guess. They banned away Kane, Anivia, and Pantheon from me, Reaper, and Salt. They first picked Orianna. I'm not too sure on why the Orianna was the first pick decision. I think Orianna's can be pretty counterable, but I guess they just thought it was good enough to first pick. We got the Seraphine and the Maokai on 1-2 as they let the Seraphine through. Maokai's, like we said, broken champion. Alistar, Jinx, Alistar, the response, and then we got Ziggs for Reaper. I think Ziggs is pretty good in a vacuum against Orianna. It's someone that's harder for her to lane bully because of his range. He can just kind of safely farm. We banned Rel and Olaf because of we banned the Rel away from TJ and Olaf away from Smoothie. They banned Mordekaiser and Belveth, or as I like to call her, Belbussy. We picked Briar on 4 because we have a lot of AP, and honestly, Briar does pretty good when she has like follow-up engage from other places. We have obviously the Seraphine Maokai ult from bot lane. So felt pretty comfortable picking Briar there. They picked Volibear and Renekton, so pretty beefy front line. They wanted to have the Jinx, Orianna, 2 damage, and then like 3 tanky champions / bruiser champions. We picked Set. Some reason they left it up, and it's pretty good into this comp.
Salt.
Yeah, I don't know why they left it up, but I mean, that was kind of perfect into their comp because they have 2 immobile backline carries, and you just yeets one of their champions into them, and it's pretty hard for them to play. So yeah, I think our draft went pretty well.
Yeah, looks like a lot of comfort. Obviously, I haven't seen you on Briar because she's a new champ, but it seems quite strong right now. Set is one of Salt's go-to characters, so a lot of comfort there. Seraphine for Beard has been comfort for him since before even Valhalla was made. I think essentially as long as you guys don't get behind and they have a super scaled Ori and Jinx, you're good to go. It's just if you fell behind and they made it to late game, that's the only time it would really be scary for you as far as Ori and Jinx, I feel like. They have a lot of meatballs, but as you said, Set can pull one back and dunk them on the carries. But let's check out how this game went. Looks like Goat Kings take game number 1. Salt going 5-1-11. You also going 5-3-13. Reaper having a fun game going 10-2-10. And then bot lane, not as many kills, but definitely there for the assists with the 3-2-10 and 2-2-12. Just everyone doing their
Yep.
jobs.
These games were also streamed. If you guys want to check those out, you can. The VOD is on the channel. If you guys want to actually watch these ones, this one is up. This one was streamed on game day.
Yep.
They had a pretty strong early game. They were all kind of roaming around as a team for objectives, but we just got to a point where our comp just kind of outshined their comp. I think it was just pretty much draftive. It was just pretty hard for them to play into us. The Jinx and Orianna did not get super ahead, so it was they did not really have a high damage profile at that point.
Yeah, I know watching Worlds right now, like, Ori is ridiculous, but definitely
Yeah,
needs
Ori's
those
really strong.
items.
She's not uncounterable, but
yeah.
she is strong. She's good against shorter range champions for sure. When you're playing against Ziggs, it's really hard for Ori to actually get in range of to hit Ziggs without
Yeah.
getting hit by Ziggs. So
To get all that harassment down.
yeah.
But we'll jump into draft number 2. You can take it away.
Yeah, this one was pretty wacky, which I liked. So we kept the same bans. They did switch Marbra and Beeson, so Marbra supporting this game. We banned the same things. They switched the bans a little bit. They banned Ziggs and Seraphine, kept the Kayn ban, so Pantheon and Anivia were up. We first picked Pantheon. They picked Rel and Sion. We picked, which obviously Rel is a flex pick for them. They can do a jungler support. We picked Set because originally we were flex picking Pantheon, and then so we decided to go with Set to counter the Sion because we at the time assumed Smoothie was going to play it because Sion's a pretty comfort champ for Smoothie.
Right.
And then we picked Anivia just because they had a lot of engage already, a lot of tanks. Anivia's pretty good into that. They picked Rumble, which at the moment we didn't really know where the Rumble was going. We assumed it could be like jungle or mid, but we weren't sure. We banned Caitlyn and Xayah because those are Beeson's other comfortable lady carries. They banned Maokai Senna. They blind picked Sivir. We picked Swain and Taric because again they have like 3. They show 4 short range kind of champions. So Taric and Swain are both pretty good into that. And they last picked Silas. They ended up flexing the Sion to mid lane. The Rumble ended up going top lane, and then they had Silas in the jungle. Marbra playing the Rel bot lane. So it was a lot of flex picks. We didn't quite know where things were going until they actually locked them in the champ select. But yeah, I mean we had a few flex picks as well, so it was a fun draft.
Yeah, I'm the most excited to see how that Swain jungle went since you definitely picked it for yourself.
Oh yeah. Swingle was we were testing things that game. It was pretty good.
Yeah, just looking at the draft, I know these have been streamed, and I kind of had them playing in the background for myself. I originally was thinking it'd be like a Scion jungle, Rumble top, Silas mid, so I was a little thrown from where they ended up.
Yeah. We thought it was we thought it might be Rumble mid. And then it would like maybe Silas support and then Rel jungle. So there's a lot of like things that could have went on, but
Right.
yeah, ultimately they put Sion mid and yeah.
But we know Beard does like that Swain. We know you like that Pantheon in the jungle. And I know Reaper is very comfortable on the Anivia once again. So it looks like you guys got a whole bunch of comfort once again for your team comp. And
Yes, sir.
let's see how it went. And Go Kings took down the first series of Season 3 2-0. So a nice start for you all. Looking like you had a very pop-off game, 17-7-7, just ulting all over the map and killing people with reckless
Yeah,
abandon.
the early game was really. I mean, they were playing really well. Bonkers was playing super well in the Scion. Smoothie was playing really well. TJ was making really good plays around the map. Beeson kind of was just able to free farm and get a lot of gold going. So I mean, it was definitely a tough game. We ended up being able to team fight well later. The Swain was really good, and I was just able to get a lot of like cleanup kills on them in these big like there's like a lot of sporadic team fights. So
Right.
it was just a very back and forth game. It was a really fun game to watch. Uh, Again, we have the VOD up if you want to watch.
Yep.
But
Check out
yep.
the YouTube or just the stream VODs if you want to see HYG versus Go Kings. And then our final series, which was Los Nomadas versus Bomba Bros, is also one that got streamed. So check out those VODs if you're interested. And here for game number one, Bomba Bros on blue side, Los Nomadas on red side. Bomba Bros banned out the Karma, Tryndamere, and Riven. Los Nomadas took away the Zeri, Renekton, and Mordekaiser. Bomba Bros first pitching that Ash, wanted that utility ADC with a bunch of slows and the ultimate CC. Los Nomadas grabbing Braum and Amumu for a bunch of CC for themselves. Amumu, as I called out earlier in the stream, one of Bulgaria's favorites. If you don't want to let him AFK farm and ult you in team fights, ban that away from him. But then picked up Bard and Trundle for Bomba Bros and Ezreal for Los Nomadas. The Bros took out Pantheon and Jax in round two. Gnar and Cassiopeia for Los Nomadas. Asol was picked up for the mid lane. Grabbed the Lissandra and Garen for Los Nomadas and the Olaf to round out Bomba Bros draft. How are you feeling about these lineups?
Yeah, I think Los Nomadas have probably again an easier to pilot comp. I think Olaf, if Olaf gets big, it is a little scary. Um, but I think Garen in a vacuum is pretty decent into Olaf. So yeah, I would say probably Los Nomadas have the edge here. But yeah, I mean, well, we can get into the results again. If you guys want a more in depth, definitely go check out the stream.
True.
This one was streamed as well.
And here we see Los Amadas took game number one. Omega the Reaper having a big game along with Juni on the Ezreal, 11-3-4 and 9-2-7. Fluffy actually having a pretty good game on the Asol, but not enough as Los Amadas took this game down before they hit the 30-minute mark, ending at 28-38.
Yep.
Well played to them, and we see they got the Soul and both Rift Heralds. Bulgaria using his classic, hey, an objective spawned, I'm just going to start it tactic. We'll jump into draft number two, where we had Los Nomadas on the blue side, Bomber Bros on the red side. Los Nomadas banned away Renekton, Zeri, Mordekaiser. Bomber Bros took out Karma, Riven, and Tryndamere. Smata's first picking that Braum, like in that first game. Bomber Bros grabbing Lissandra and Tristana. Tristana could, if picked alone, could be more of a flex between ADC and mid, but with the Lissandra pick, you kind of know where they're going. Although,
Yeah.
seeing later in the draft, you don't really.
Yeah, no.
Los Nomadas grabbed Amumu and Ezreal. Bomber Bros grabbed Sejuani. Then the bans were Gnar and Yone for Los Nomadas, Panth and Jax for Bomba Bros. Tali was picked up, then Victor and Aatrox, so we have a support Lissandra. And then rounding out the draft is Fiora.
Yep, I think again Los Nomadas have I mean, I think Bomba Bros have like can have a good like kind of pick comp, but I also think that the Lissandra, Tristana, and Sejuani, I think the Victor is a little bit weird here just because he kind of gets left back when these champions kind of run in. So it's a little bit of a, I would say, like maybe something else besides the Victor maybe here, but I think Ulstamatas probably have the better lanes. I think Viora does pretty good in the Aatrox. Think you have the classic green jungler, so yeah, we'll just have to take a look.
Green jungler is pretty big. As Los Nematas close out week 1 2-0, picking up that week 1 victory. Junie once again popping off on the Ezreal, and Omega having a pretty good time in that top lane. So well played to them. And those were all the games for week number 1. Now we'll check out the games to come for week number 2, where I have them all laid out. We have Titan Gaming Mux versus the Donger Squad, Night Raid Owls versus Kraken Slayers, Titan's Wrath versus Velocity Gaming, Stoner Nation versus the Hot Young Gays, Ultra
Hung
Lords.
Young Gaze, come on, man.
Ultra Lords versus Bomba Bros, and Los Nematas versus the Goat Kings. And then we see here Bentage's predictions. He had him for week 1, and I believe she went 4 for 6, so had a pretty good start to the prediction game.
He got ours wrong.
How rude of him.
True.
But he's picking Titan Gaming Mox over Donger, voting for his own team. I like the confidence. Saying Enter over Kraken, but he says it'll be close, which, I mean, is somewhat appreciated, but come on, man. You gotta believe. Titan's Wrath over
He
Velocity.
does, just not in you.
HYG over Stoners, Ultra Lords over Obama Bros, and the Goat Kings over Los Nomadas.
God, Bentage said we're gonna win, so we're gonna lose. It's cursed.
Ah, shit. We've
He always says he always voted us to lose, which is why we always won. Now it's Jover. I'm by done.
Every week you're like, please say we're gonna lose.
Yeah, please say we're gonna lose, please. I want to actually win.
But yeah, I think there are a lot of good matchups again this week. From the draft and into this week, how the teams are sitting currently, I don't really think there's any pushover teams, so I think all the matchups will be intense and have the potential for either team to win.
Yes, sir.
I'm hoping my team will pull off the victory over Night Raid Owls. We can pick up that 1-1 season record. We were pretty close in week 1, so we just got to clean up a couple things. Got any thoughts on any of the games?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see some streams. Excited to see some VODs. Yeah, it'll be fun week. Lots of good matchups.
Yep, gonna make sure to try to run as many as we can. Check out in the league general chat. We made a new channel for voting on the game you want to get streamed live on Sunday. So if you care about which game happens that day, make sure you get your votes in. We're going to try to prioritize teams that haven't been streamed yet, but make a vote for which game you think will be the most entertaining. And with that, we will close out the Seer. Thank you, Deity, for joining me and helping me run this podcast. And we will
of course
catch you all next time for more Legalize and Action as we get more games going on.
Drop your primes.
Give us all the prime subs. We'll love you for at least 30 days.
At least.
We will catch
no
you
less
next time. Bye-bye.
See ya.
The king and his men stole the queen from her bed and bound her in to